It's time for the ghost of Christmas past to rear its head as we take a look back at the top 5 of 2024. We'll get us started.
Oh, okay. No, well, look, there's so much we can talk about. So much has happened across the globe, particularly in the North American landscape. But we start at number 5. We think of the Rugby Network. We think of Gallagher Premiership. And we think of two guys who used to play for Northampton Saints. Northampton Saints winning that final back in the summer. A brilliant win against Bath. A fantastic season, a really good final, worthy final. Man, I mean, quick one for them. Can they go into 2025 and go back to back? But when you reflect on the season they had, it was pretty impressive.
It was pretty incredible. And what was probably full circle to me was obviously the 10-year anniversary of when Saints won it in 2014. You've got Phil Dowson, who actually I think was the captain on the field of that day, lifted the trophy because Dylan Hartley was on the bench coming back from injury. He leads the team to the victory. Very, very special full circle moment and had to be in our top 5 for 2024.
Had to be in our top 5. Going into number 4, and we had a great success when we talked about South Africa, especially on our YouTube channel. Shout out to the South African fans on there. We have to give them a shout out because they were the best team in 2024. There's no doubt about it. Winning the Rugby Championship, having an unbeaten November tour. Is there anyone that's touching them at the moment, really? We talked about this previously in a show earlier, but...
It's a tough one. The only two teams that I can think giving them a real run for their money right now are probably France and New Zealand because they have the size.
The All Blacks.
Ireland always have a chance because of the ability for them to play. The only issue with Ireland for me is the physicality, just the giants and the bomb squad that South Africa brings. They're always really under strain there, where I think France and New Zealand have a bit more bigger cattle to try and handle that and then have the dexterity of their game to actually take them on, where I think Ireland showed they can beat them. They won in South Africa. I just think they're always going to be a little under the pump in the forwards, and especially without a Tag Furlong or without an Andrew Porter, their depth starts to fall away, where South Africa got bang, 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 bang.
They're just about 5 deep in each position.
In every position.
It's crazy.
What you've got to credit them is they are not a one-trick pony anymore. Like,
no,
the team that won in 2019 World Cup, brute forwards, kicking game, a little bit of razzle from their wingers when it was the right time. Now they are a fully complete side. Their defense is incredible. The kicking game, the forwards are still there, but the attack, the ability to use the width of the field and the danger men they have in the back line as well. They are the most complete side right now, and you've got to credit Rassie and his men for what they've been able to do and create this sort of dynasty era for South African rugby.
Let's jump into number 3. Number 3, when I reflect back on 2024, I think the success of college rugby. College rugby talked about with NCR, but then also CRAA, St. Mary's with our D1A 2024 champions. And that's a success story in itself. Don Besag and Erich Storti then went from D1A champions to then becoming USA Eagles. I just think it shows the sort of pathway system that's been in place. And then, I mean, look, we could talk about where the US Eagles are in a good position. They're 3 from 3, November tour. The future's bright, but I really feel like it's the college rugby is getting very good, man. 2024 was a good year for it.
I think it's all trending in the right direction. And something that stuck out, one of the comments on one of our posts was Brett Thompson. And he basically said, like, how good that, you know, there is content like we're covering, interviewing Brown and stuff like. He is a rugby head OG. He's the son of Salty Thompson, who's probably got the biggest legacy of the youth movement of rugby in America. He's sort of seen the full circle, and to see his words and see how far we've come really gives me a point of reflection and a bit of pride in what we do, that we get to cover this college game. And I completely agree with you. The on-field product of college rugby is at an all-time high. It's now feeding into the MLR. It's synchronizing with the Eagles on top. Very exciting times.
And it's exciting because 2025, remember, is the year of qualification for Rugby World Cup. So it's a big year for the Eagles. Corbs, hit me with number 2.
Number 2, Will, is the New England Free Jacks going back-to-back in the MLR. Scott Maddy and his men leaving a lasting legacy on the MLR with their second impressive victory. This time it was over Seattle and not the San Diego Legion, but really, really sort of setting the benchmark of what a franchise is capable of in this MLR. I believe the first team to go back-to-back since Seattle, very early in the competition. And where you look at the competitiveness and the versatility of travel to different finals to everything, they have really done a tremendous job to make themselves the best team on the field, but you could also make a strong argument for off the field, from social media to content to brand to identity to commercial partnerships. They've really sort of set a good benchmark for where the MLR should be and can keep growing towards.
And actually encompassing all that as well, which was so good in 2024, was Major League Rugby, Snapdragon Stadium for the final. Marshmello was there.
Yeah.
The week before, there was New Zealand versus Fiji. It's almost like, I just like the way that the league still has got a long way to go in many aspects, but it is progressing in the right way. It was a very exciting 2024, encapsulated, as you say, by the New England Free Jacks being the winners. Now, number one. Go on, Corbs, send it away. It's the biggest talking point of 2024 for USA Rugby.
Couldn't look anywhere else than the summer of 2024, where the women's sevens team scored the bronze medal at the Paris Olympics, upsetting Australia in the last seconds with Spiff Cedric going the length. One of the most iconic moments of the game, one of the biggest exposure moments for the game of rugby in the history of America, and the birth of the true megastar that is Ilona Maher.
Oh, so good. I mean, we could just have Ilona Maher in herself, but we put it all in one with the bronze medal. Women's rugby is the most exciting thing, or the thing to get most excited about. Rugby World Cup coming up in 2025. Ilona Maher is just in her own different world, Dancing with the Stars, Sports Illustrated magazine, you name it. And Corbs, you hit the nail on the head. It was a moment that for rugby in this country, we needed. We really did need it, and the girls provided it. Thank you. That is number one. That is our top 5 of the best moments in 2024. Are we happy enough with that?
Ho, ho, ho. Of course we are, Will. It's Christmas time, so we always got to be happy and keep smiling, especially for Santa Corbs.
Coming up after this, we're going to jump out of 2024. Look ahead to the top 5 of 2025.